Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the MMA Pattern podcast. Today I was speaking with my good friend Martin Verno, who is an interesting guy, plays judo at a high level, has got a PhD and just got a really fun outlook on life, which I just always enjoy spending time on. And it was great that we had a chance to sit down and have this kind of long format chat. So hope you enjoy it. And for the first time I'll have some music in this podcast. So I've got my mate Paul's band. We've got a working title called Fucked If I Know, F-U-C-T, no profanity in the title, don't worry. And it's a really cool tune. Actually, I really enjoyed listening to it and the other samples that he sent to me, so we're looking forward to hearing more songs that Paul records. And also I'm going to see a gig, but I'll keep you guys informed and things as I've really just enjoyed the music. So enjoy the songs, and then once that fades away, you'll hear Martin's voice. So cheers guys, enjoy the show.
I think I might be lost inside myself, plagued by thought. Washed up, kicked out by the side of the road, found helpless, destitute, nowhere I go. Washed up, kicked out by the side of the road. Washed up, kicked out by the side of the road, found helpless, destitute, nowhere I go. Washed up, kicked out by the side of the road. We get by on the kindness of strangers.
No, it's fine. Well, Martin, thank you for sitting down with me today. I know we talked about it for a while to have a wee chat. And I think our conversations are usually quite interesting anyway, so I may as well record it and maybe somebody can...
My pleasure, thanks Martin. Yeah.
No, it's fine. So, Martin, you've done judo for ages, you're living a healthy lifestyle and things, so there's a lot of things we can talk about, but I suppose we...
I try to.
Yeah.
Live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. So, maybe I was thinking we can start off by by your journey in judo. So, like, what made you start doing judo?
Actually, it was my father. So he was playing judo in Poland.
Uh-huh.
He was heavyweight. I'm not heavyweight.
And
I think I was a hyperactive kid.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And but he liked playing judo. He did that in Poland. So I was born in Poland. I think he even got he got second in the Polish championships.
Oh, wow.
So he was quite successful at the time, and then we moved over to Germany, and just as a hobby and a social thing, the first thing he would do when he arrived, like in the new place, we would find a judo club. Mm-hmm. And so there I was 5 years old, I think, starting judo.
Oh wow.
And because I was hyperactive and kind of, I don't know, maybe had the talent to move well, so it was fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting my energy out, and I think I was even doing my yellow belt exam before the legal age, and the examiner was like, how old is he? Oh, he can't do technically, do it, and then was like, yes, fine, let's let him do it. Yeah. And then it just continued until my brother went to gymnastics with me, and the coaches there were saying like, "Ooh, this boy's got talent," and I was playing also handball at the time, so I was kind of doing all sorts of sport, as I said, quite hyperactive, and And then somehow this thing evolved towards gymnastics. So
Yeah,
I was playing. I was training, I think, 5 times a week, gymnastics, and then there was less time for judo. But I was keep on coming back to the judo.
Yeah.
Obviously, that gymnastic thing helped. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I was kind of, even though technically I wouldn't evolve that much, I was just physically, when doing kind of the kids competition, it was not very difficult for me to score and stuff. So
Yeah.
and then I think it was 16, so that's went on, I think from 8 to, from 10th grade, 8 to 16, I was like everyday gymnast, going kind of national level, and
Wow.
and then I just couldn't be bothered anymore with gymnastics, because I'm just kind of, and then I went back to judo. So that was good fun, kind of training 3 times a week, I think, and kind of doing some exams and going on competitions. Yes, then university started, and was the end of judo for 3 years or something. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I moved places and kind of, then I started back, injured the shoulder a little bit, and lost interest somehow. Kind of was more the unhealthy part of life.
Yeah,
Just
going to uni.
undergrad, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I picked up in like the second part of the study. I was lucky to get a good coach. So previously I was coached by like a German coach on like a smaller city, then in Frankfurt at Main was a Hispanic coach, like Spanish coach.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was quite having interesting techniques, but he wouldn't have the discipline. Like he was a good kids coach, but he wouldn't really transfer to the older ones,
Adults, okay.
to the adults. And then in Frankfurt, when I was back, I think I was then 24, I think. There was a good coach from Morocco.
Oh, right, okay.
He was amazing, like Khalid Fadat. He was kind of,
Right, okay.
his brother was almost going to Olympics, so
Yeah, wow.
so it was high level. He learned his judo in Morocco. He would focus on groundwork a lot, but he would also kind of
Do the throws as well.
do throws. There was kind of hard training, like 3 times a week. I was always kind of really tired after that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Then I moved again. Moved to Australia. I went there to judo.
Yeah, okay.
The club was not that strong, so there were not as many adults. So I was kind of giving more judo sessions than having them.
Do you not say that would have helped you slightly, because it's a different aspect of your mind, I suppose, is engaging, and you have to understand the techniques better?
Yeah, teaching is always good. Like when you teach, you learn actually.
Yeah.
So it was good, but somehow I felt like I knew I'm gonna be in Australia. I did that for study for my diploma thesis. I knew I'm gonna be like 1 year, and the judo club was not that strong, and the coach was nice. Was older than me, but like I thought like, okay, he's kind of enthusiastic, and everyone in the club was super nice. But then I decided to do more stuff I couldn't do, like which I only would rather do in Australia, like diving, for example. So I did like the scuba diving thing there. So like diving
Pretty
with
awesome,
sharks
actually,
and
yeah.
turtles and caves and Great Barrier Reefs and stuff. So
Enjoying yourself. and
enjoying
things like
myself,
that.
exactly. Yeah. I went back to Germany after this, back to the old coach. Like really good time then. A few competitions in league, like lower level league, not like high end competitions. And then I moved to Scotland,
Yeah.
to Glasgow,
Yeah.
and for my PhD, which I did in was this cell biological aspect of insulin signaling in fat cells, so linked to diabetes and metabolism. And there the coach was, like Glasgow has good judo clubs like Kilmarnock and Bellahouston, and obviously Edinburgh is kind of the big place for judo.
Yeah.
But I stayed in Glasgow, and I trained in Glasgow, and so the former coaches, they were like more physical and technical.
Okay.
So, and the judo coach in Glasgow, Eric Kane,
Mm-hmm.
he would have slightly different, I don't know, techniques to teach. Like he would rather say like feel the judo and
Okay.
rather than learn it. Like you need to kind of, he would always be more focused on your body. Like he would say like pay attention on your breathing while you kind of engage in the judo. And in judo is a lot of grip fights.
Yeah.
So we kind of like usually say like get your grip and then fire on, you know, like fight for the grip. Don't
Yeah.
let the guy grip like he wants, do like you want.
Yeah.
And for him it was like in training sessions, like not in competitions, he wouldn't allow grip fights. He would say like just go what you have and then you kind of be more agile and can kind of attack from each position. And so so it was kind of more movement training.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was very different at the beginning. I thought like it's not tough enough and stuff.
Right. Okay.
At the beginning I was struggling. And there are also big guys, like heavy guys. Was more like a heavyweight club. I was 73, 75, under 81s. So
Like kilograms. Yeah.
kilograms, yeah. The judo divisions.
Yeah. Of
so,
course. Yeah.
and what is it in stone? I don't know, like
73.
10, 11 stones or something.
11 stone roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, so it was a whole different experience. I really liked it. And when I started to get like really into the teaching, then someone sat on my knee and just my knee went. Someone else could hear it, like it was quite bad. Yeah, anterior cruciate ligament gone. So that was me out. I think for 1 year or something.
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 year until I got back, like.
Properly.
Yeah. So that's. And then I continued in Bella Houston.
So that's you had your knee injury. You had it rehabbed, and then you continued.
Exactly, and I continued.
After. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Okay.
So continued, was nice. I got really back to strength, and also the mindset changed because I was then not really kind of firing in that. I wouldn't say aggressive, but I was more smooth because I found the whole point is kind of to be bouncy.
Yeah.
Kind of be light all the time, quick, light. And my groundwork became stronger because I wouldn't do tachiwaza, it's called, like the stand-up bit of the judo, because I was afraid, but I still went to the full session.
Right,
so I had only the groundwork session I was participate.
Right, okay.
And the other ones I would just watch and do like, I don't know, press-ups and kind of just at the side. But it was interesting that only by putting more focus, more attention on the groundwork, it just improved. It improved more than I would do both sessions at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just kind of, it went up. So I just kind of, just kind of putting the attention on it, like, helped a lot, yeah.
Would you say that even if you weren't doing the kind of stand-up sparring, you're probably almost like visualising the technique, so maybe was that an aspect that you did as well?
I think that didn't help, no.
No,
I was kind of, also I was, after the knee injury, I would still go on league matches in Frankfurt for my old club.
Oh yeah.
And so then my old coach would see me kind of fighting, and he would say like, okay, I can tell you're standing, your game changed, like, because I was more the standing up one, kind of going for ippons while standing, and then it's just changed. I was not that secure anymore. I was secure enough to not get thrown, but I wouldn't go for the really big attacks. I would just go work on the ground and
win that way, kind of thing.
Yeah, it worked as well. But he just noticed like, oh yeah, like groundwork improved. We need to work on your tachiwaza and standing, but so that was quite good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
in terms of when you started, so you had quite a lot of coaches in your time from day one in judo and to now. Then.
Yeah, I think it's good and important to kind of swap it's good to have one for a long time,
Yeah.
but at the time, like, it was always kind of the right time for the right coach, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So I had a few. Yeah.
there's a lot of people that say that when you grow together with a team, I think it's very important, especially if when people potentially go to high level sports, high level MMA and things. I think if somebody knows you inside out, and there's a closer bond, you can develop more. But then on the flip side, you can learn a lot more from different people.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
So there's no kind of right or wrong answers to whether it's better to stay with one team for the remainder of your career, or is good to travel around.
I think you need to feel. Oh, it changes the style probably.
Yeah, totally.
Or of course, I noticed
Good
myself.
example.
Yeah. But also, I think what you really need is that you do feel bonded in whatever way or connection you have to the coach. Because after Glasgow, I went to Potsdam. That's where I've done a postdoc in the German Institute for Human Nutrition, and I just didn't really get into the teaching there. Like, I just didn't get really into the club. Was not enjoying it.
Okay.
Then they changed the coach for like 3 months, and I could really see kind of, okay, this is what I need now. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and judo improved then, and then kind of he went off. So just, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the coach is.
It's
You
vital.
need the bonding or the understanding, or some bits of understanding, at least, like something you really appreciate. I
Yeah.
think that's what you need. Then you can like swap teachers and teams probably.
Yeah, yeah.
If there's no connection to it, like you wouldn't really kind of love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't love it, you're not gonna get anywhere, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And now you stopped doing judo. You're doing more jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, I had a break with judo because I had another sprain of the knee, which was
Okay.
kind of surprising. but-
Same knee.
Yeah, same knee. Nothing went, but
Okay.
I got a really big scare. You know, I thought like, oh my god, like
Same thing again.
this was it. Like, never judo again. Like, even like if something's gone now, I'm not gonna continue. And yeah, so. But nothing was gone, so I was lucky, and so I continued.
Yeah, of course, good. Yeah.
And but then I went moved from Potsdam to Berlin, and focused a little. I had to focus on work a little bit more,
Yeah, totally.
and I also decided to take the second dan in judo, which was it was just kind of more theory based
Okay.
training. Like, this is how it works in Germany. You don't. In Scotland and in Japan, I think you fight with equal level belts and grades to kind of, you need to ippon them, like you need to win the fight clearly, and then you get points towards your higher dan gradings.
Yeah.
And in Germany, it's more like the old man's version, I would say, where you do like kata, which is kind of a special form of judo. So you just perform it's not a dance, but you just demonstrate the techniques without the other person resisting. And I've done that, and then I went traveling for 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah. Pictures looks fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. It was quite a trip, and
Imagine.
yeah, I lost weight there, so I was very cautious to getting back into judo because I was afraid of getting an injury. My shoulder was also kind of not very well, so I kind of went a bit rock climbing and climbing, and then I went to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is where I'm now, like a 3-4 month Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. I started before in the Grip House because I thought
in
like
Glasgow,
in Glasgow, yeah, because with the knee gone, I was kind of staying to groundwork, so I got the taste, and I quite liked it. And
Yeah,
so,
I can imagine. Yeah. And the club that we trained at when I visited, so you guys in Berlin was phenomenal, really, isn't it? Yeah, good team.
It's just upcoming team, I think. Yeah, it's kind of a satellite team of a big team in Berlin, I think. Yeah, so the coach is.
Well, he's
This is-
Brazilian for
Yeah,
starters. I
yeah,
suppose.
he's quite a character.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was what I quite liked was when we were training that your coach is obviously Brazilian and his first language is Portuguese.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Germany, and I don't think his German is as good as at the moment. You'll be
No,
learning.
his German is he can express what he wants. Sometimes he
Uh-huh.
needs to ask, but it's kind of instantly he's kind of full blown Brazilian.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of
But what
charming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really enjoyed that. And but what was interesting was, even though he was communicating to me in two different languages that I'm not fluent in at all,
Yeah.
I think the language of jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
kind of transcend those borders.
yeah.
And I was at least able to kind of understand at least what the
Yes,
message he was
yes.
getting across.
Yeah,
It's really
he's
cool.
good. He's breaking it down well. I think. Yeah, he's got the talent. I think that was the ultimate proof. Like explain a technique to a person who doesn't understand any of those languages he speaks, and he got it right. That was good.
That's what a good teacher does, isn't it?
Yes.
But what I quite liked was that it was a kind of a really fun class, and I can imagine when you train there 3-4 times a week, however, you get good very quickly.
Yes, yes. It's because a lot of people started at the same time there. So, I had that once that in judo, like we started like as the Moroccan coach overtook a group, or has taken it over. You would spar or kind of train with the same guys over and over again, like because the group wouldn't be as big.
Yeah.
And you would think like, okay, like relatively speaking, this guy's sometimes better than me, I'm sometimes better than him. But what you don't notice at the same time is that you both are getting better compared to other ones. So you go step outside the club and all of a sudden, like, what did just happen? Like it's kind of comes from the like unnoticed. Yeah.
The gains.
Yeah.
Gains. Yeah. And I suppose in terms of your jiu-jitsu, so are you gonna start competing in? You think? Are you gonna?
I will be keen to do some competitions, maybe in winter.
All right. Okay. Quite close.
Maybe in winter. What's still kind of. I see how I go because I'm expecting a child, so
Yeah, of course.
probably it's gonna keep me away from training. I guess. And I train like 2-3 times a week, so but let's see. I would be up for it. I think because I think training is one thing. Is kind of it's like doing the stuff you do in a protected environment. Not that it's easy to spar with your mates. It's just kind of the mindset is different. It's like practicing a hunt and then go out in the woods and try to catch something. So if you're out in a competition, it's kind of there's no more safety and like by default you're just so much more pumped and nervous and so I think what I really enjoy is in competitions to really compose yourself in this very moment, you know. So and then if you like, I think this is the biggest fun. I think if you're nervous but you keep your nerves together and just do the thing right because you need to do it right now, or just you do something maybe even unexpected, and this is what kind of I think I go competitions for, like just to basically beat myself. Not obviously sometimes you beat other people by beating yourself.
Beating yourself, it's a good way to describe it.
It's kind of keeping it together. I think this kind of that
You
makes
learn
you
a lot
also
more in competitions. I find
What's that,
you
sorry?
learn a lot more in
yes,
competitions.
yeah.
I think sometimes, but with that pressure, sometimes your techniques that you learn in training don't come off, so you have to almost kind of go, right, when did I learn something far away in my training
yes.
that maybe would be appropriate in this moment? Like in a grappling competition, you sometimes go, wait a minute, I have never learned that technique. And then you go, well, actually, I watched a YouTube video on this one time. And then it just came up. It was like, well, I'll try it.
Or sometimes it's just, like, I think in competitions I've done throws and techniques I've never even practiced before. Like, it's just kind of happened, you know. And Eric Kane would say, like, your body knew and you kind of And I think it's a mixture between being thinking and not thinking. You know, like, so you need to be strategic and patient, because like every fight I lost in my head before. You know, being impatient or being like thinking I'm gonna lose it or something like that. So not every fight, but usually you know already this is going this way, this is going that way. And every fight I won was like, okay, I'm on it. I'm absolutely on it. I'm gonna do it. You know, so
totally.
so it's a lot of head work, but at the same time you need to allow this kind of impulsive, spontaneous things where the head is not quick enough, but the body would kind of be in position already and just roll over this edge, or just kind of drive in quickly, and before you know it, like, you would have scored. And sometimes I just didn't know what I've done. I needed to watch it on video to understand what happened, you know, because I wouldn't remember, you know.
Kind of being so much in the moment that you're
exactly,
kind of excluded from reality. You're just being and doing the technique to win, ultimately.
Exactly, and it would come up with a throw I've never done before the other way. I usually don't do, you know, so stuff like this, and it was kind of, okay, he was standing right, so it was the obvious thing to do. I never practiced that though, and stuff, so that happens sometimes.
Cool.
I think that's the beauty of being at the edge, I think.
But I think it comes from training, doesn't it? You have to train to do that. And then, so I know that now you're a vegetarian.
Yes.
Have you always been a vegetarian when you competed?
No. I was I come from Poland, and I would say like today's Polish diet would be a very meaty diet, so we'd have meat every day.
Of course, yeah.
And I've always been sort of more a hard gainer rather than kind of the classic person which kind of goes in the gym, eats, and goes like really, really big quickly. And I noticed, like, no, I haven't been vegetarian for 3 years now or something. Like, more for ethical reasons, came with my meditation practice and stuff, so just thought like it's not the way to go to kind of continue eating these cute little things, or cute big things, I don't know.
Whatever the case may be,
yeah. And so the diet changed. I was experimenting a little bit before, because I was doing the science on insulin signaling. It's kind of the hormone which regulates blood sugar after digesting carbohydrates, for example. And so I was the diet type which would go hangry, you know.
Oh yeah.
Angry when he's hungry, and I was doing cycling also across the Alps with the mountain bike, and
nice.
with the exactly, like carrying stuff and going down all mountain, so it was quite good. But it's endurance sport, and I was hitting the wall, you know, the glucose downs, and I was feeling like I was living from like one meal to another, so I felt like addicted to food somehow, like being dependent on food, my mood depending on food, my performance dependent on food. And as I was going to these conferences about diabetes, some talk inspired me, and they kind of had the theory that it's not kind of what the general consensus would be, that the fat is causing, or the general consensus was, let's say 5, 6, 10 years ago, that like saturated fat and excess calories per se would cause diabetes and bad blood sugar, glucose management. So one said like that insulin resistance and diabetes type 2 speaking would be the natural reaction of the body to just a wrong diet, which is full of carbs and so and such. So I got into the physiology of carbohydrate-free diets, read some books, kind of read some papers and all this, and I figured it sounds like a really sensible thing to do, like in terms of energy excess. Like you have certain stores of energy, and I think like if you do the math, you can only store 1% of weight of your muscles in glycogen. So even if you a muscly guy, let's say you weigh 80 kilos and have 10% body fat, you would end up, I think, with 45% muscle mass. And of this, 1% would be glycogen, so it would add up, I don't know, not so many calories, like, and the liver would, it can store 10% of the liver weight of glycogen. This could be used for the brain, whereas the muscle glycogen could be only used for movement, because glycogen can't be exported out of the muscles back into the blood.
Right, okay.
So you would be looking at altogether 1,500 kilocalories you can store in stored carbohydrates. So this is how long you can go, whereas like before you really get hangry or hit the wall, or and as I think as only the liver can deliver the brain with energy.
It's prioritizing, I suppose.
It's prioritizing. So the muscle you might move, but you feel bad already. So whereas if you switch the thing and say like, so what would happen if glycogen runs out completely?
Yeah.
Obviously, it sounds bad, and you hit the wall, and you're dizzy, but as a species, we still here. Like if there would be no backup mechanism, like all humans would be dead, like extinct, pretty quickly, I think. So what the body does, it goes into starvation mode, and it would then access the energy which is stored in fat and burn that as a predominant source of energy, and even supply the brain with it, kind of turning, not just burning the normal fat, but the liver would turn the fat, if the glycogen levels are low, into ketones, and the ketones would be used for the brain. So the brain uses the ketones as energy, and the brain could use up to 60% of the energy can come from ketones. You still need kind of 40% glucose. So either you eat a bit glucose, or so this is the starvation mode, and then this ketogenic diet would mimic, in a way, it would mimic fasting. So you would eat carbohydrates, and the liver would always stay out of glycogen. So it would always produce these ketones for the brain, and the body would adapt fully. And then you don't, like the idea, the theory was like you would never get this energy roller coasters. You would always be kind of have juice for whatever you want, you know, kind of unlimited supply of energy, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So it sounded very good, and I was on it like pretty quickly. As soon as I noticed, I was like full blown on it, like not compromising nothing, like maybe eating in the beginning phase 10, 20 grams of carbs max per day for a few months. I was getting the carb cravings a lot. The bread. Like you enter a shop and the bread bar is kind of the first you encounter, and it was like, oh,
so tasty, isn't it?
Just smells so good. But I was just kind of no. Double cream, eggs, kale, for breakfast. So and there's this guy, is MD Peter Attia. He's called. He's kind of. He's a bad boy, I would say. Like he's a dude. He would kind of exercise a lot, and he went into this ketogenic diet and really put his body transformation. And he would do, as he's an MD, he would do all those kind of blood lipids tests and post them. So he did some work to inspire me to do that. So.
So you got your blood lipids measured?
I got them measured as well, because I knew there are some dangers. So I got them measured. You know. I didn't measure them before and after and stuff. I just measured
during, I suppose,
during, and so they're good, you know. So they were all fine. Like even like, because medical doctors these days, they look, I think, in old-fashioned blood lipids, they would say like, oh, total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. They would look at that rather than looking at, let's say, the particle number of the cholesterol carrying bodies. Because it's kind of small submarines carrying the cholesterol.
Right, okay.
The more you have, the more dangerous it is. And so you can have a high cholesterol, and you can have big buoyant submarines carrying all the cholesterol, but you have only, let's say, a few hundred.
Loose cholesterols, yeah.
No, there's kind of, because cholesterol is fat.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't dissolve in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to carry it with proteins, and these proteins would be the lipoproteins.
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
And as a cargo, they have the cholesterol inside, and you wouldn't. So you can have high cholesterol, but each particle would have like big cargo, and you would have high cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, but low particle number.
Right. Okay.
So only a few big boys.
Okay, right.
Big lipoproteins up, lipoprotein B.
Uh-huh.
Or you can have high cholesterol and a lot of tiny ones. And this would be very dangerous, for example. So some people would have high cholesterol, but they're perfectly safe. But the average GP in the UK, in Germany, and they would only look at the cholesterol, and they would even prescribe statins, kind of cholesterol-lowering drugs, even before checking the other value, so...
Yeah, okay.
So, on the other hand, you can have low cholesterol and have still kind of a high particle number, so it would be still dangerous, although they say completely safe. So, basically, we're looking at the wrong measurement to judge health. I got this checked because I knew, because I was kind of, high cholesterol, the doctor was already saying, like, yeah... but I said, like, wait, do these other tests. Oh, that's not covered by the insurance, like, but just do it, And so it was fine. And
good, yeah.
So I just kept on going. So I was really, really feeling well with the ketogenic diet. Also in competition, it wouldn't kind of be of any, like, drawback.
Really? Okay.
No.
Because some people say that even though the keto diet is very good to like drop your kind of fat percentage in your body and kind of make you
I
feel
got leaner
better.
as well. I was lean before, but even leaner then.
Even leaner, yeah. But some people have said that you do need some glucose, be it from pasta or whatever, potatoes, whatever, when you're competing, because you need that kind of the surge of energy to do, I suppose in judo, like big techniques.
Yes.
Or, whatever sport you're doing, you need kind of explosive.
I think you would like. I think this kicks in if you're really high level. Like most of the people will worry about things that they're not at the stage yet.
Okay.
So they worry about like branched chain amino acids and whatsoever, but they just haven't, like, they still can do a lot just with training, and then if it's at the level they should kind of kick in with the other things. And for me this was one of the things. So it's known that like the glycogen source in the muscles or the creatine phosphate or something like this. So endurance sport wise there is not really kind of a drawback you take, not a big one, but with kind of sprints and muscle endurance you would get, as they say, up to 10%, like 5% strength goes down.
Okay.
But it sounds big, but I just didn't feel it,
Okay.
And I think a lot of, and if the longer you wait, so you need to wait a certain, until the body adapts fully for someone quicker. A lot of people that are on the keto diet, they get like this keto flu. This would be gone by 30 days. Sometimes quicker, sometimes like it can go up to 30. And then they still kind of wait, they say like the juice is not like there, like the strength is not there in the gym, but it would kind of gradually build up. So
right, okay.
But it wouldn't go to the very maximum as it would be with the carbohydrate diet. But but the benefits of mine was like my weight was more stable. So for example, I was about healthy lifestyle you just mentioned. So I was going to judo session on a Thursday, for example. Then I went on a night out, and then I still hadn't and then kind of short sleep, then to work, and then the next I would have dinner or just almost 24 hours without food.
Right. Okay.
And I wouldn't, if I done that on this carb diet, or I would do it now because I'm off the ketogenic diet now. I
It'd be
would
harder,
I would
yeah.
I would lose weight, and the weight was just stable. Like I thought it was not fluctuating that much. So this was like one real good benefit of it. And with a sport where it's not like pure strength,
Mm-hmm.
it's much more mindset and technique at a normal level. I would say like at professional level, you would like to rather have this
Yeah.
5 to 10% than not have it.
Mm-hmm.
But with kind of, let's say, regional like level or Scottish university championship levels, it was fine to not have this. So I wouldn't feel it. So I was feeling just great.
Yeah, okay. So what made you stop doing keto then?
Yeah. So actually, I only stopped because I thought I want to be vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're vegetarian and you're on a keto, the whole thing's changed. Like, so
It's difficult.
I wouldn't. You can still kind of really go on the eggs and the cheese and stuff.
Mhm.
But meat, I would prefer like over cheese, because cheese has like the amino acid composition of cheese triggers insulin more than, for example, per gram of protein than meat would do.
Mhm.
So you would counter effect the keto effect. I think that's maybe one reason. Also, just kind of also you need to have the variety. It needs to be tasty. Like if you want to do a diet, and it needs to work for you, you know. So I would also kind of try to kind of go more plant-based, ketogenic, and so the effects like not having this this carb, like not having these phases where you just hangry or you would have kind of full concentration always, but I just was keep losing weight. Like my blood was good, like the blood lipids were good, and everything was fine. I felt also fairly strong, but just kind of it went down and down and down and down. So I felt like if I continue doing this, I would be kind of really, really skinny. And if you lose muscles, you're also more susceptible to injuries and stuff. So I just kind of thought, okay, just go back to the normal and try to get like weight back on.
Yeah, totally. I guess being vegetarian and doing the keto, you probably noticed quite a big difference in kind of your composition and things. So are you, I suppose, more happier being vegetarian now than if you were when you did the other diet?
True. Like I think this thing where you're unhappy being, let's say, non-vegetarian meat eater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you eat meat, obviously you're fine with it, so you have no reason to be unhappy.
Yeah.
And so you're not in this conflict. I think I was only unhappy in this transition phase where you kind of think, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm still doing it. So it took some time just to make to have this effect, this epiphany, like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna do this, eat meat. And now I feel happy about it, like, and for various reasons, like I would like, if you see kind of, everyone knows this pictures of bad treated animal transport, and I think like, okay, good,
You're not part of that.
I'm not a part of that anymore. So, but on a daily basis, I don't. It's not like that you feel like just happier because you're vegetarian or something. Yeah.
I guess in a way, it's more each person's diet has to work for them.
Exactly.
Because I actually just tried keto.
Yes.
I spoke to you about it first, and you
Yes,
actually supported me through it. So I was actually really good, really happy, thankful that you did that. And the reason why I kind of thought about it was because we obviously spoke about it several years back, and then I kept on hearing about it through listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and I could just got me thinking, I was like, well, you know what, I'll just try it, because it might be something that I will do forever, or maybe something that's a one and off. But if to have that experience, I'll be able to apply it somewhere else potentially. And so I had that kind of keto experience for 2 months. And I think it was, for me personally, it felt good that I was, as you say, not dependent on food. So I was.
Yeah, you felt like the constant supply of energy, like, right, never ending almost. Yeah,
I was. I like that aspect of it. I like the fact that I leaned down a little bit, but I think I don't think it affected my mood. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it was. I was a bit more snappier with people and things. So I think that was quite a big drawback for me personally. So
I think also like there's a lot of psychological compound in this as well, because if you need to kind of, it's a restrictive diet, so you restrict things, and I think, and if it doesn't come naturally, like you always feel like you're missing out on something, makes you, and this sets you in a bad mood already in the first, and then probably maybe some brain chemistry was going on, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. So I think for me personally, the keto diet was a good experience, but it's not one that I'll go back to, I think.
Yes.
But I think it's a big lesson for me that, you know, even though you hear rave reviews about something, be it a diet or a car or whatever, it might not be for me.
Yeah, I think that's how you said, like, it needs to be, a diet needs to fit a person, and not the other way around, like, or a person needs to fit a diet. It could go the other way around, but it, it's certainly a big aspect. It needs to be okay, like, with the ketogenic diet, like, you get used to things like ordering the restaurant and saying, like, can you swap this for that, and you'll be always saying that, you know, like, so it is you can call it a pain in the ass in some way.
That's so true as well. That's so true.
But I wouldn't care. I would just do it, you know, because I was on a mission. I think, like, because of the diabetes thing, I was thinking, like, because it is a valid, if not, I think, a pretty good one, like, treatment for type 2 diabetes. You know, it's a pretty effective one. So I would go on and on. It's like, oh, this is good, and I was having the approach, like, if you don't live it, basically you can't really say do it, you know. So I was having many reasons to go on with it, but it needs to really suit you. And like,
you need to be disciplined,
and you need to. I was doing my meals at work, like, I was having Tupperware salad, kind of. Even when I went hiking or something, I was just kind of on a simple bus ride. I would always have something, because even though we have the flexibility to not eat, but you rather prefer to eat.
Yeah, of course. And so you've obviously built up quite a lot of experience and knowledge on dieting, I think. So have you thought of ways that you could, obviously you kind of supported me in your diet, but ways that you could potentially benefit other people with your experience?
That's one of my plans to do. Like, so I was career-wise, I decided to quit science. So I was doing a postdoc, as I said, in Germany, in Potsdam, the German Institute for Human Nutrition, and I just decided it's like there's a lot of research put out, brilliant results, but then it wouldn't be applied properly by medical staff, healthcare staff, and this knowledge would be dormant for up to 20 years until it kind of really settles into being used. Like, I think a good example is, I think everyone knows the article in the Times where you have this kind of 2 eggs and the bacon as a smile, like 2 eggs as each eye, instead of bedtime for cholesterol or something. So back then they were really convinced that dietary cholesterol would cause high blood cholesterol. But a few years later, or even back then, there was also research telling that it's not happening. So dietary cholesterol in a healthy person, fairly healthy person, has only minor or none effects on blood cholesterol levels.
Right. Okay.
And this took, I think, 20 years to get into a normal GP thing. So and I experienced myself, like, facing the GPs telling me, you should eat less eggs. You should eat. I think, no, I shouldn't. But I don't tell you. You will listen anyway because you're a medical doctor, and like old medical doctors tend not to listen to anybody. Yeah, it might sometimes. Yeah. In conferences they would admit, okay, blah blah. But if it's kind of so they would do this stuff. So I decided to quit science and deepen more this nutrition thing and maybe do some science communication as well, so to accelerate the process.
Okay.
So I'm doing a training now, dietitian, diet consultant.
Okay.
So I do that, and the plan is on the longer run to just consult people on diets and help them to achieve their goals. More health based, I think, like but if they want to kind of increase their performance, recovery, so
I suppose you've got first-hand experience of I would say a decent level in judo, because I think you competed on a national level, is that right?
Like regional level, I did the British University Championships, like when I was in Scotland. Scotland won, by the way, then.
Oh, fantastic.
In the regionals. Brilliant. So, I was in regular national competitors. It was kind of the regional level I was doing more. Yeah.
But I suppose even still that you've got experience of doing what I would class as kind of high level competitions. So you always had to get your body ready for it, be it training, but then also probably the more important aspect of it, fueling it.
Yes.
Getting the necessary just kind of fuel in to kind of be able to compete. So would you say that having both of those experiences will enable you to kind of not just consult people on their diet? Would you look at almost like coaching and things like that as well, and being kind of, I suppose, physical training for people and things?
You mean like physically getting people into shape? I think it's like I would rather focus on like the people that really have trouble with health rather than people that are already in a really, really good shape and just want to be kind of this 10% better, you know. But if someone wants kind of my advice, I wouldn't. I think it's like I would like to be in the sport more. Like, I think the guys which already train 3-4 times a week, they're cool, you know. So I'm more looking at the people that really don't know how to kind of really kind of feeling bad because kind of they're on a bad diet, like, and also in judo it would be, there's another thing, it's weight based categories. I think it's kind of normal mixed martial, like in all combat sports.
Yeah, always weight based.
So and every person has a certain type of metabolism to cut down weight. So I think it's very, and people would be not changing this. If they've done that for how many years, they would refuse kind of, I think, to try something different. Or that's my feeling, like, because usually people said higher weight and then they might do the ketogenic diet, let's say, but they wouldn't do it quickly enough before an important competition, and then they would kind of you're right, bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit. And they would say, okay, that was a bad experience or something. So usually the people know which compete on a regular basis, they would know their strategy, the good strategy to lose weight before competition and be fully kind of equipped. What I can think of is working with youth, like, which are just getting kind of into heavy sports, just to make sure kind of to give them like it would be more like science educational, to just give them a more broader view on minerals and what they need, and like magnesium, like it's good against cramps, like why is it good against cramps, why do you get in cramps and stuff, like backing the physiology, and maybe do some one-on-one teaching. But I think the more experienced players, they would probably know how to deal with that. Maybe also if adults start in a later age and then go into this, that would be also kind of beginner level, I think. But I think the people that are doing that on a regular basis, I assume they would know their ways.
I assume too, but it's not always the case, I suppose. Like, I think
Yeah.
if people are stuck in their ways, they might not necessarily think of a new approach that would actually benefit them.
Obviously, if they would need a radical change, like that would be a niche, I think. Yeah. And then like
Well, I didn't think
if
of
they,
that.
they would need something more dramatic, or they would always struggle with that, you know, like then they might seek some help. And yes, but I don't know if there is like as many people that
Yeah.
really have this problem.
So it would be a niche, it would be like
Yeah.
1 in 1,000 people,
Yeah.
1 in
Yeah.
10,000. Okay, no, I suppose that's quite a valid point, I suppose. Did you do the keto diet when you were recovering from your ACL injury? Was that around that time?
Let me think. I think I just... Yes, during the recovery I started, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a bit later. Like, not like within... Because the recovery was quite long, I think. I got bad treatment at the beginning. So I got muscle atrophy because they kind of fixed the joint.
Right, okay.
And I didn't get a scan for a long time.
Right.
So they just gave me, they said it's kind of ligaments and a sprain, and they gave me a cast which was rigid, and I would walk on crutches for, I think, up to 1.5 months before I really got scanned. And I got, it's funny actually, I got scanned in Germany by a former judo player.
Oh, right, wow.
Who played, I think, for the national team. Yeah. Was also a Polish, a Polish judo player, and then he was like, "Oh, like your knee is like so skinny. It's gonna be hard to build back, you know." So so actually did just the wrong thing, which is kind of not using this knee. But the way to go would have been to be in a mobile cast, which kind of doesn't allow the knee to twist, but just to bend.
Right. Okay.
Like as it made, and then kind of to use it and keep the muscles, and then go into surgery, and then the recovery would be so much quicker.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, but as I didn't, I had like muscle atrophy. It took really time to build that back. Yeah. So yeah, I was then on keto diet.
So that must be quite a difficult experience from building your muscles back then, in that kind of knee that you injured. Was it your left or right knee?
Left. Yeah,
Left knee,
yeah.
right, okay. So, and you're right-handed, I take it, or right?
I'm like for judo wise or.
So, what I meant to say is that your dominant leg?
Don't know. I don't have a dominant leg.
Oh, right, okay. So you didn't play football as a child?
I did, but like football wise, it was right.
Okay.
But like judo wise, I would have both sides. Like.
Oh, right, okay. Because I usually, I know that like I do karate, and but we obviously do jiu-jitsu and things.
Yeah.
But in terms of a side, you always kind of you always have a good side and a bad
Yes.
side,
Yeah.
and
It's kind of. I think with some techniques I would stand on this leg, with other techniques I would sweep.
right.
So, but I wouldn't say it was kind of the more
Yeah.
effective leg or something.
Yeah. I guess what I was meaning that is that with if your left leg was your more dominant leg, it would have kind of more impacted your life had your rehab been as long as it was. And was it did it start off your rehab? Did it start off quite difficult because?
Yeah.
So what did you do with the rehab? How was your rehab?
So I was lucky that so the rehab was 6 weeks after. So I was lucky to fit into the surgery after 6 weeks, because that's kind of the schedule they do at the moment, or maybe they do it later now. And then the doctor then said like I should even like 2 days after start to walk. Even he instructed me to walk even though it's painful. Like it was painful, but I tried to walk. And then I was then slowly building, kind of getting the range of movement. And then luckily, the judo club in Glasgow, there's one guy, he is physiotherapist for Kilmarnock Football Club.
Oh wow! Okay.
And he sent me a PDF document like with the rehab thing, because the NHS rehab I was going into Glasgow Infirmary, I think it's called. the Royal Infirmary, just kind
that's
of
the one.
and the physiotherapists would be good, but they would be good for just average people that kind of twisted their knee and not in a rush or not ambitious enough kind of to build the knee strength back. So so I was getting the protocol, and he showed me a lot of exercises, and so I was getting the mobility back, and I got like into a good routine. So I was every time before work I would go to the sports center of Strathclyde and kind of do my exercise almost daily, you know.
Good.
So it went back, but slowly, kind of, because I'm not, as I said, more the hard gainer type. So until I got my muscles back, and kind of, and then it's the psychological component as well, like component, with you don't trust the knee so well, you know. So because it was such a hassle to get it like back together and stuff, so you want to lose it again.
No, absolutely not.
So
I know that sometimes with the surgery, depending what type it is, say if it's a cadaver ligament, is that what you had? Is that like from a ligament from a dead person?
Or no, I had my own. Yeah.
And was that what ligament did they use?
They used the one from the hamstring.
Hamstring, right? Okay. Because I think the hamstring ligament is a lot stronger, I think, than your knee ligament. Is that the way they explained it to you?
Oh no, I think it's just I think it's a different type.
Because
I'm not sure what they exactly said about the strongness, but they fold it, so they use it, I think, 4 times or something.
Right. Okay.
Or at least double. You
Right.
know? And then there are like ways to fix it into the knee. So some would just use screws, but this guy, he swears on that he chucks out a piece of bone, like a Lego piece,
Right. Okay.
let's say, and then puts in the ligament inside, into the hole, and kind of hammers it back in. So it kind of wedges in and grows like really together, you know. So,
okay.
So I had luckily, or not luckily, no screws. So it was just kind of hold, and then the bones would grow together, and
Wow.
that's supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
And then there is also different techniques with while doing the surgery. In Germany, it's called like blood ring. So you can put a ring around the thigh during the surgery, so the blood flow would be stopped.
Okay.
But some surgeons say that if you keep that, like, if the recovery will be slower because the blood flow was
Impaired, I suppose.
stopped. Yeah. So if you don't do this, apparently the recovery is quicker, but then the kind of it will get more swollen just after surgery. Yeah. So it's kind of different strategies. Like, obviously I haven't had to deal with it again, so I just know, let's say, some data and some practice from, was it 2011-12?
Yeah, it's so much technique. It's kind of out with my scope of intelligence that really I just kind of, if an expert knows, they know. Have you looked into like stem cells and things for recovery and things?
They do drill the bone next to the injury. That's a technique. And then bone cells, like bone marrow cells, would diffuse out and kind of fill the gap. And
So your own stem cells.
your own stem cells would regenerate, will help the regeneration.
Right, okay.
I think that's done with partial ligament ruptures or something, but I don't know why the ligaments in the knee are so just, even they're so close to the sides. For example, the medial, like the ones at the sides, if they rupture, they grow back together by themselves.
Okay.
But the crucial ligaments, they don't. Yeah, so
Right, so you have to get surgery.
So you have to. Some people just refuse to do surgery, but they would do kind of. Then the danger is that the bone of the shin would knock against the knee too often. So you can hold it back together with muscles as well, but you wouldn't do kind of high impact sports. Like you could do normal sports, but not kind of go mental. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that there's a famous example of a former Rangers player called Marvin Andrews who ruptured his ACL playing for Rangers, but he did not get surgery on it. And he played football, which is reasonably high level for Rangers, with a torn ACL for the majority of the season, and he claimed that through praying he would recover.
Yeah, some belief.
Yeah. I think
it helps. I think positive thinking.
Yeah, I think. But
anyway,
I think the surgery I ended up getting probably helped me more. I think
probably. Yeah. There is also a theory that you need to wait with the surgery longer, because 6 weeks after the surgery, I think the joint is still traumatized because while rupturing, there's unbelievable forces.
Yeah.
So the bones would bang together and stuff, so it would chip off as well.
Okay.
Sometimes, so if it's like a strong impact, and so the idea is to not operate on a wound. So we just, because the ligament is gone, it's gone anyway. Then you let kind of to calm the joint down, and then you would do the surgery after the muscles built, like you didn't even build up the muscles ahead, maybe kind of with straight exercises, not kind of twisting ones.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you could do the surgery, let's say, up to a year later, and this is supposed to be an alternative way. Obviously, you shouldn't be playing football
Getting tackled
while waiting for the surgery, you know, like. But in professional football, like, I mean, Sami Khedira, was it before the World Cup in 2010? Was it? Yeah. He ruptured his ligament, I think, just 4.5 months before the World Cup. Recovered, and was playing. And for a person like me, like, because I recovered like for a year or something. Yeah. If you have like really professional care and everything's done like really right and quickly, then this might be possible with luck, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I think he's probably genetically gifted to recover quickly, and then another aspect is that he probably had the best surgeon in the world operating on him.
Yes.
I think I can't remember the guy's name again. Colorado.
Is it?
Again, Colorado.
Is it? Yeah, I thought it was the German doctor.
Oh, is it? Okay.
The national squad has a German doctor, always kind of Peter Müller-Wohlfahrt, I think is his name.
And he's a surgeon that he always operates?
I'm not sure if he's a surgeon. Maybe he's just kind of at the side and tells like, okay, this is them, and then maybe someone else was the surgeon.
Kind of delegates the job to them, yeah. Oh, but it's just but 4 months for an ACL.
That's rapid.
That is the most the shortest turnaround time I've ever heard. But I suppose it's kind of enlightening to know that that you've had the surgery and it's worked out for you.
Yeah, so far it's holding up. It's supposed to, I think, be 12 years or something, and there would be maybe an expiry date.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, I guess.
For now, I'm more playing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Knees go there too. Would sometimes, but
I think especially now the Jiu-Jitsu game is that it's become very lower body based. There's a lot more techniques. People are using more like leg locks and using a lot more heel hooks and knee bars and things. And I think I'm not an expert in it at all, but the Hiva guard that you probably may have been taught, I think that you use a lot of your knee, and people's knees get really banged up through using that kind of guard. So whenever I've done it, I've went away from that. I just kind of do fairly,
felt it in the knee and stuff.
Fairly rudimentary techniques, even though that's kind of my style, I suppose. So I suppose depending on the game you play jiu-jitsu, I think your knee can be quite exposed, or you can really protect it quite well.
Yes. I think again it's like you need to adapt the techniques to your physique, right? And if you feel like this putting pressure on the knee, then you probably not do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I just noticed the time now, and I will probably look to wrap this up soon. Is there anything else you wanted to mention? I know we had kind of a brief chat before this.
Oh, we covered, I think.
Yeah.
I might mention what in competition I was saying, like when you're in competition and you would do, I said, you fight against yourself. Like if you beat yourself, you beat the other person. I think to achieve that, you can go either to a lot of competitions, obviously, but to support this, I think one aspect which helped me in martial arts and in life in general was kind of sit down and meditate, you know.
Okay.
So I would strongly encourage people to, even if maybe it's kind of counterintuitive, that you want to be a good fighter, and it's more the Kung Fu approach, I think. You know, kind of be the calm in yourself, the steady body, you know. So if you do apply the meditation quite well, you will get benefit, even in kind of impulsive and combat sports. Well, because you are the calm one. You can be explosive on the outside, but just kind of in the inside. So I think that changed my style as well, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Being more kind of cerebral in the approach.
Yeah.
Being more kind of allowing time for yourself to think, but then also allowing the time for your, I suppose, your instincts to kind of...
Yeah, exactly. You would kind of catch up. You would not kind of get caught up in this ugly emotions and fear and stuff. So you would just more kind of, okay, like, don't lose the emotions now, kind of do what you've trained, do what you've told, and kind of let it flow, and then kind of it's just more enjoyable.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's something I'll need to look into a bit more. I've got this app on my phone about meditations. I did a free trial with it.
Headspace, or was it?
Headspace, that's exactly it. Yeah.
I've never tried, but I've heard.
Yeah, I did a few days worth of it, and it's been okay actually. But then I don't know, after a while I just kind of didn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think whatever works for you. I mean, like application, there's guided meditation, but I think there is a benefit to it in certain layers of life.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Hope you enjoyed the conversation and also the music at the start. If there's any information about either Martin's business or his podcast, or maybe both, I'll let you guys know. And also if there's any more tunes from the band Fuck Tefano, working title, and also if there are any gigs coming up, I'll let you guys know. So with that, I'll catch you in another episode of MMA Party Podcast. Cheers, bye bye.